All right, excellent. So folks, good evening and happy Thursday. I hope your week has been treating you very well. So welcome to a public hearing at Community Board 14 in Brooklyn. And so I am Chair Carl Henry Cesar, and let us go around the table and introduce ourselves, and then we'll go through the agenda. So we'll start here to my left.
So Lisa Thankful, board member.
Eric Ost, board member.
Elizabeth Denny's board member. I usually go by Liz though.
Joe Dweck, board member.
Joanne Brown, board member.
Steve Cohen, board member.
Sally Seawold, the Chief Operating Officer at McCarr Care and Services.
Usher Woman, Director of Development at McCorp.
Stephen Smolowitz, area coordinator from McCorp.
Alyssa Minnick, board member.
And the folks in the back.
Summers Wilson.
Andrew Wilson.
And you're the owners of the second application that we'll be hearing next. Okay, welcome.
Excellent.
You're welcome to come up to the table if you want, or you can wait till you're here, whatever makes you more comfortable. I've also been joined by Nina Sabgir, board member, who I'm introducing so she has a minute to take off her jacket and such. And I'm Sean Campbell, district manager here at CB14.
Excellent. So we have two items on the agenda. So the first is to invite public testimony with respect to a proposal by the Women's League Community Residences Incorporated, DBA McCourt Care and Services Network, and the New York State Office for People with Developmental Disabilities in relation to an application for a potential community residence to be located at 1328 East 17th Street between Avenue M and Avenue L within Community District.
Eminent.
Eminent.
Eminent, excuse me about that. All right, sorry about that. My apologies.
What about that?
No sweat. Fitting Community District 14 in compliance with section 41.34E2 of the New York State Mental Hygiene Law. So the proposed community residence will be located in a two-story, one-family house for up to 4 young adult females who are ambulatory, moderately and severely disabled and or autistic. The agency will provide housing, meals, recreation, companionship, and continuous 24-hour supervision in a home-like environment staffed by professionals. If you would like to comment on the proposed residence, you should register for time with Sarah Sklar at the back of the room. And when you do so, please state clearly for the record your name, address, and organization, if applicable, prior to giving testimony. So first, we will hear from the resident sponsor, Stephen Smolowitz from the Women's League Community Residences. So, Mr. Smolowitz, all yours.
Thank you. Nice to meet everyone. So as the proposal states, we would like to open this residence for 4 individuals, 4 young ladies in their early 20s. As it says, we're going to provide 24-hour staffing, which will include supervision, activities, recreational activities, etc. The ladies are they're moderately functioning. They need very limited help in the day-to-day skills. They're going to be attending day programs on a daily basis, and that's really what it is. We don't anticipate any issues with them as far as versus community. They're actually quite friendly and outgoing. We plan to, of course, support local shops as far as shopping and groceries and etc.
Thank you very much. And so first things first, do we have any pre-registered speakers?
No,
Okay.
or previously submitted testimony.
Okay, thank you very much for that clarity. So then, second thing is, do we have any members from the public who wish to testify? Okay, so then the next step is, do we have any questions from board members? Yes, board member.
I'm not familiar with your organization. Do you have other facilities in the area?
Yeah, so we're actually one of the, we've actually been around since 1978. One of the first agencies that started after the Willowbrook Institution was shut down. We have 32 group homes throughout the I would say the Brooklyn region. We have 40 locations throughout New York City. We have an ABA school on North Strand Avenue. We're actually building our headquarters now is being built on where the buzz was, which was on Coney Island Avenue between J and K. So if you've seen traffic over there, that's our, part of traffic's our fault.
Thanks a lot.
Construction, my apologies. So yeah, so we have over 800 employees. And like I said, we've been around. This was an agency that was founded by parents.
It was originally called Women's League,
Yeah.
or it's a DBA.
Right.
So it could be, people might be more familiar with Women's League, I'm not sure.
Homes and community residents.
I think this is the first time I've heard their name in our district, I believe.
Me too, although when I was looking for a template for the application, I did see that it seems like we had been before this board prior to me. But I don't know if you had a facility in the board or a prior application. It would have been like
798 East State,
15 years ago.
just 798 East State.
That sounds right. Yeah. Is that still a functioning? Yeah. So that's just your memory, Joe.
East State Street.
I don't remember the seventies at all.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Around the corner. I know.
At risk of nepotism,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the organization very well. I have several sons who work for there and.
Pretty much all family works up.
Like half.
Yeah.
If I might say something.
You have a follow-up question, and then after that, board member Colin. Yeah.
Yeah, just that, if anybody other than me is old enough to remember Willowbrook, that was something Geraldo Rivera had exposed in Staten Island, and it was a horrible institution. Terrible. Because of his expose, it was closed down, and instead, individuals were moved to these group homes, and it's been a tremendous success. They're learning to have jobs, learning to get on subways, and learning to write checks, and it's just amazing the difference. And it all came from Geraldo, his expose.
Now, on top of that, also that makes it easier is one of the state mandates was smaller facilities. So you're not going to be seeing, 3 vehicles parked in front of the house. You're not going to be seeing major, so it really will flow within the block. We specifically picked this house because it was a one-family house, so there weren't any sharing walls or anything. There was just a little bit of privacy. There's a little bit of a backyard, there's a driveway. So we kind of picked this house. We also liked that it was really right off of Avenue M. So very, very easy for us to integrate into the community. Staff will be able to take the train, which stops right there. So the location was really ideal for what we were looking for. It wasn't easy to find, so that's what.
Actually, thank you for that. Board member Colin, I believe you had a question.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you all had meetings or discussions with residents nearby or neighbors, just to see, what their feelings are about the proposal.
So to be that.
I mean, we've spoken to Ned, who was next door.
The neighbor next door actually is very excited about that.
And that's, next to that is construction going in, there's nobody living there. And then after him, it's the end of the block.
This small street. The neighbor next door was excited because the house was standing empty for a while. And then he really wanted it, I guess, for security
It was,
purposes.
it became a meeting spot for.
Yeah.
Understood.
Hangouts.
Also, just one more thing, I'm sorry, because I'm trying to give everybody some perspective. That if a regular family moved into this house or any house, like I have one of our friends, a family moved in and there's just nonstop drinking and nonstop parties and just very, very loud, you have no recourse. In something like a facility like this, we do have recourse to contact the community board, to contact the managers of it in order to say, things are not going well. But for a regular residence, people could be partying day and night and you have nothing to say.
Thank you for, you have something? that you'd like to-
And to the extent that the recourse is available, it's nothing that's had to be exercised. We really have no community concerns that are ever expressed about these facilities with, one glaring exception, but I think that had more to do with the neighbor hassling the residents and rather than the residents causing a hassle.
Right.
So, we've had good experiences with.
Our other home on East Eighth, actually, they actually do like a block barbecue where everybody comes over. So it really integrates into the community very well. I'm not saying it's always perfect situation, but overall, these experiences, well, sometimes it scares people off in the beginning. Over the course of time, we become the best neighbors consistently.
And we would like to be more neighborly just because we want the guys to go for meals on weekends and to be part of the community and eventually it will not happen in the beginning because
Well, I can tell you that we maintain the property, from the outside very well in general. It's probably one of the cleaner properties in many areas.
Gotcha.
If you don't mind me being technical, it's between M and Cedar.
Oh, we appreciate the technicality. Then we know exactly where it is. I have a question for you, please. You've identified the women who will be moving into this site. Do you know who they are specifically?
Yes.
And where are they living together now, or will they just be meeting each other as you move them into this new facility if it's approved?
Two of them were actually roommates in a residential schooling together.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, one referred the other as
Mhm.
friends that would come over, so that's a part of it. But in order to get approved for a home like this, you do have the state does their own screening. Priority cases, some of them have elderly parents, or don't have parents at all who can care for them anymore. So there's a whole screening, so we don't make the referral, the state makes the referral to us, who's a priority, and then we try to mix the names based off of what we feel would be a good fit together.
Okay, thanks for the additional information.
And I have a question too. And so, as was mentioned, this is a 24-hour support facility. And so for the people who are providing support to these women, is this a situation where, there's also rooms for them within that house for them to stay? And then I guess people are rotating shifts, or is it that, they don't necessarily live there, but there is a changing of shifts?
So
they
the setup,
don't live there, but there are rooms that they could stay.
Mhm.
And it's a full house. We're renting a house and
but the general setup is that it's pretty much 8-hour shifts, and then they go home and they come back to us when the next shift is on.
Understood.
That's for the most part.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, there's
And-
place for them to stay there as well. So
Yeah.
we've had snowstorms where staff pretty much just pack up for the week and
That's
move
right.
in.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're set up for that.
And
As like I said, she would not have let all her children work there if there wasn't decent, nothing is worse than an angry mother of a worker, by the way, than anything.
our turnover rate as an agency has to be quite low, and we have staff that volunteer they get paid, they volunteer to stay over during snowstorms, and we are struggling to find staff during this climate, and it's been that way, yes, since the previous administration, government-wise, but by and large, if you would Google OPWDD, our governing agency, they only mention 4 agencies that what they call Compass on a high level of supervision and what they feel is expertise. We're one of those 4 agencies. And we're the only one that's listed within New York City.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that's perfect because it's a field that you have to always be better and better because your mission is to take care of these individuals, which need always an A game. So, we're not perfect, but we try hard.
Understood. Thank you for that. So are there any additional questions from board members? Okay, so hearing none, do we have a consensus to make a recommendation to the full board to approve this community residence to be located at the stated address of 1328 East 17th Street between Avenue M and Cedar? Okay. Awesome. So then, That concludes this part of the public hearing at 6:52 PM in regards to the Women's League Community Residences. And so Mr. Smulowitz and the other gentleman, thank you. The next part of the public hearing is going to be in regards to a application that concerns the Landmarks Preservation Commission. So if you would like to stay, you can. But at the same time, if you would like to leave, you can also do that as well.
I vote for whatever they want.
But since we have, I do want to say that on Thursday, May 9th, from 10 in the morning till 1 PM, Community Board 14 will hold its, I think, 12th annual nonprofit roundtable at East Midwood Jewish Center. And as a community-based organization serving this community, we will make sure you get an invitation. We hope you'll find us to network with the other CBOs that are providing excellent services.
May 9th?
May 8th or May?
When is it?
Wednesday.
Somebody help me.
You just send that information to the
Yeah,
email that I have
yeah,
on
yeah,
on the
yeah.
thing.
You'll-
Also, just one more thing, since Mr. Dweck said Dweck, did I get your name correct? Since he never heard of us before, I do invite you to come down and experience a day with us. And not a day, you can spend even just an hour with us. It will change your life, so everyone here is invited to
Thank
come
you.
see some of the great work that we do.
Thank you. It is Thursday, May 9th.
Thursday, May 9th, okay?
But we'll get it in writing to you.
We will be there.
I think
Somebody
you'll
will
like
be
it.
there.
A public hearing to consider public testimony with respect to an application to the Landmarks Preservation Commission for a house restoration and renovation proposal at 1100 Albemarle Road, block 5115, lot 1. So this is a freestanding townhouse in Prospect Park South Historic District. It's a neo-Georgian brick and shingle home built in 1909. And so if anyone would like to register for speaking, please do so with Sarah Squaw on the back. And if you do so, please state clearly for the record your name and organization as well. So with that being said, we will first hear from James Garrison from Garrison Architects, who is representing the owner. So.
Oh, I think we're the first one to hear from the owner.
So, yeah, so I'm Andrew Wilson, this is my wife Summers.
Hi, you guys.
We have, I think, bravely bought this place
Okay.
with the intention of making it safe, well-maintained, and a family home for our 3 kids and crazy dog. It's a passion project also. It's a beautiful historic place that just has been not maintained. And it's been used in a variety of capacities since it was originally built. I'm a bit of a history nerd. I will not bore you, but like originally for the DeLong family, they were not a big family. And a multi-generational family lived there, they did some porch enclosures, and the organization we bought it from was sort of running a quasi-religious organization of some sort out of it. And needless to say, we took it as is, and our goal is to really restore it to celebrate all of its original features. And we love the neighborhood and the community. So like that's, I think, kind of the punchline is like, we're excited to be part of it. We were in Park Slope for 10 years before this, and I love being part of this community. If we flip through the first few pages, just really quickly, you can get a sense as to where it is. It's on the corner of Albemarle Road in Stratford. This particular view on the right shows some of the porch enclosures and additions that were added as just sort of additional bedrooms for various families and possibly followers in the latter case that were living there. We've since emptied the place, got the heat working, and we're living in it on the second floor as a family as we're kind of going through the final stages of we get the heat working, which is a big win ahead of winter, but continuing to do some plumbing work and finishing the designs in partnership with Jim and team ahead of going to hopefully landmark preservation committee review. I think the next slide in the deck really talks about the history of the neighborhood, which again, I'm in love with it. I think it's fascinating. I just love to walk around it, take our dog on walk and look at all those houses, and I see them in my mind in the panoramic photo on the bottom left as they were. You can kind of go around and see them as they are now. The fourth page, I think, is a good and kind of through time. One more. we'll show you the house from the property tax photo as it largely originally was. Maybe it was 30-some years old on the top left. Was the original kind of porch and terrace on the front. The Gibbs surround, which I learned about from the designation report when it became a historic district in the 70s, around this crazy door. The other kind of elevation on the right from the corner shows the porch enclosure that along with the kind of destruction of the original porch covered roof, sort of exposing just the shake up top and brick below. The bottom right is sort of our vision for restoring it largely as it was from the exterior, meaning removing that front enclosure and restoring and rebuilding the porch as it was with the roof and at the level it was before, with columns similar to the original ones that were there. The current terrace in the front is a replacement, I believe, from like the 50s. It's not quite the same, nor is it quite the same height. The next page shows just a little bit of the what time does. And I think certainly it's time to replace the front terrace as its pieces are falling off it. But you can get a sense from some of these images that like the foundation of the porch needs work. It's unsafe, frankly, at the moment. And the masonry work around the enclosures was inconsistent with like the lime mortar work that was done, for example, in the original core of the home. And the next slide shows our target elevations. So what it would look like from the front on Albemarle Road at the bottom and the kind of Stratford side elevation on the top, with a kind of full wraparound porch restored as it was described in the designation report, and a vastly improved garage on the right, which is also in pretty rough shape at the moment. Interestingly, it has 2 6-foot deep mechanics pits in it. So it kind of tells you what was going on there in the 1910s, I think, in terms of the early automotive era. It's pretty neat. You even found some car parts in the pits. But maybe Jim, can I pass to you to talk a little bit about some of the details here?
Sure. Well, the house grew from that sort of large block that you see over the years, right? So that's how it's all started. That's pretty close to what was there when it was built. Then this piece was added at some point. It's back at the rear lot line, but that kind of 2-story piece was added, kind of key porch and so forth. And then a piece in here was added, and these 2 brick blocks were added in the house in the 50s. That's such good craftsmanship. And so we're taking those off, and we're putting the porch back, and we're actually taking a little of the floor area out of the house because living rooms are kind of narrow. So I think the idea for that old brick extension was to make things wider, and then in case we put it in the back where they were, and bring the porch out there and here. So there's a lot of work to be done. I mean, the shakes, the roof, the gutters, the plumbing, I mean, everything needs work. So, but
Yes, everybody.
so this is all, this, already scared. Summer's enough, but this is all real restoration material. I mean, it's made from scratch. All of that needs to be rebuilt. It's deteriorated. So we'll go ahead. Let's see what else we've got here.
Good.
All right, so that's the sequence, right? So we start with the house and this piece, right? And then this piece is added, that little wing I'm saying, and then these things were added. This is our, Brooklyn 50s business. And these are really in rough shape. They're really dangerous. And then this piece gets restored. This piece gets trimmed back. This gets taken off. This gets added, wraps around, and you can kind of see the windows get replaced. All the pieces and parts of the house get upgraded, and where we can, we insulate. Where we can't, where the old fabric can't take the insulation, we leave it. So that's kind of the picture. Go ahead. Next, please. Well, that's just a planned version of what you just saw. Here. Oh, this is the context of, the context of all the houses in the neighborhood, which is a glorious American mix of every style under the sun, but
First planned community? I think it was the
Yes.
first planned community.
Yeah. That's right.
was it the first in the States?
I believe so. First bit of underwater plumbing, sewage, electrical.
Are you maintaining indoor plumbing?
First, like subdivision.
I've been digging a lot in the basement today. I showered before I came.
That's Little Brown Sun, so.
So this was before all the Jersey started.
Go correct the brown sides.
Well, all right, so there are various bits and pieces that relate to what we're doing. You see, enclosed porches and, solaria and so forth. And of course, there's every manner of woodwork and fake work around the neighborhood. Of course, you know, what we do is we go around and look at the way these houses are detailed. There's no living with these houses were, you know, since I was a young carpenter. Anyway, well, let's keep going. All right, so that's the basement. The house has fantastic plumbing. I mean, it's no repair, but I mean, it's got amazing.
I mean, it still
plumbing
works,
going.
which is sort of insane.
So this was the addition. So this is the piece that we modified, but that's the basement. Anyway, go ahead. Next one. So these are the pieces that we're taking away. And for instance, we have to rebuild that wall because it's in such terrible shape. It's falling apart. And so those are all little bits and pieces. Go ahead, next please. And on the upper level, things are modified. And next level up, and these are really interior pieces. Certain rooms are getting restored. There's been a lot of modifications, of course, inside. Next, please. So these are the pieces being taken away, right? So this is decrepit. It looks like they made this from the parts of the previous porch and left a few pieces out in the mix. So that needs to come out. This comes off, and the bricks don't match. Of course, they're different bricks. The windows are in that area replaced. Next, please. Same business. The two brick boxes come off. This comes off, gets replaced. The windows gets. All right, so these are the plans for the restoration and the improvement. So pieces of new construction, of mechanical equipment room, space for a porch that sticks to this on one side, south side. Next, please. Well, you can see everything's going on here. This room is turned into a kitchen and a mud room and different utility rooms and porch wrapping around. This had a fireplace at one time. We're putting it back, bumping out a little bit to try to get a little more width out of that room. Porous paving in here, so we'll have grass strips in between the concrete. Next, please. Oh, would you go back one? So the house on forward one, please. Okay, so the house interior is largely intact. All through here. And then this is a mess. And the woodwork and the paneling and the wainscoting are all in great shape. So the floors need to be replaced, but you know, a lot of the woodwork is still there. So we're very happy about that. So these houses will really be period rooms. And these rooms are other. Next, please. Upstairs, a master bedroom suite and some miscellaneous work to be done. Next, please. And then the kids all go all the way up. You're good.
That way we hear them trying to sneak out.
Yeah, we leave a squeak in the stair, right? So,
Yeah.
Right out on the roof and out, and you won't hear a thing.
It does have a lot of levels.
Or you get a lot of kids into this house. Next, please. The roof plan, next, please. And these are just, you know, our architectural drawings without any of the added pieces of what it will look like when it's done. That's just a straightforward imagery. And I think it's likely that we'll put a gray roof on. Landmarks, we've been talking to Landmarks and they've said, well, they think the roofs were originally gray. They'd like to see that. The nice thing about this is that, you know, right now, the house looks a little odd. It looks as though it has its bill pulled up too high. But once we get this porch in, it kind of settles it all down. Go ahead, next, please. So that's facing the neighbor. The east. This is facing.
See that ADU in back?
What's that? Oh. Okay, so that's, I think that's it. Is there anything else? Oh, section, oh, these are our architectural details, the sections, the construction of all these pieces and parts, which is, you know, important to get right so it, water doesn't take advantage of it over time. But go ahead, sorry. That's the section, that's the porch, so the pieces we're adding. Next, please. The details for how we do this, these are all purchase, historic recreations in the original porch. Next, please. Detail work around the projection where the fireplace is, at the living room, framing for the walls, a bit of stained glass, divided light doors, a couple of wood panels. Next, please. And this is the kitchen solaria with operable windows and a couple of doors. So that's a piece that we're adding on. The windows, by the way, we're going to where they are original. And they were all sealed shut, and I think they were modified in the 50s. But we're going to restore the windows. So there'll be the original single pane, divided light windows restored with counterbalances. And then, but in a case like this, where we're adding, we're using new. Next, please. The window sketch with all the pieces. Next, please. And some renderings of the interior of the house, the kitchen, the dining room, pretty much as it is, right? But restored and repainted. This is that wall that I just showed you with the windows, and this looks out to that driveway area. Next, please. That's it.
Thank you.
No.
And so do we have any pre-registered speakers? Okay, do we have any members from the public who wish to testify? All right, so then do we have any questions from board members? Board member Brown?
So what is the setback on the side yard where you're going to put the porches on? The one on Stratford, right? So you have porch comes around.
What's the
front,
difference from the street from the side?
like what's the distance from the sidewalk to the building?
Let's go to the site plan for a second. We're holding the existing line.
Sarah, can you go back to the site plan, please?
Okay, so when you remove those two extensions, those two decrepit extensions.
The front extension.
All the way back.
Letter of an existing porch.
Back wall.
It's actually
So
original
we would
foundation.
move-
Okay,
Right.
So
but
nothing's
we would
moving.
be-
gotcha,
And this is actually the footprint of the original porch,
right.
right? So we can use the foundation of that for the new porch. And that is, I don't know what the dimension is, but if we go to the site plan.
Well, if you're saying that the footprint of the building is remaining the same, you're just opening up the enclosed porch and you're
Right.
opening up that extension that sort of created a wall on Stratford then.
We're not going beyond the perimeter of the existing house in any case.
Okay.
Reducing square footage.
Yes. Okay, thanks. That was my only question. I think it's really nice. It's really nice.
Finish with the light pen.
Oh, boy.
I see we have a question from board member Sainville and then board member Minich.
Thank you. So first of all, nice drawings. When I saw them, I thought nice drawings, but I guess to piggyback on Joanne's question, the original extension of the house on the back, on the Stratford side, you're cutting that back from what it is right now. Now, was that original extension a legal extension? Like, was it filed with like?
Oh, I have no idea.
VOB?
There is a set of.
So-
drawings.
We did find a set of drawings that originated, we think, from the VOB, like hand-drawn, like blue with like white,
1957.
1957.
Okay, so that with that extension, I mean, you've been talking to landmarks preservationists. Is there any existing problems with that extension?
No, there's no
As far as
violation, there's no
landmark?
zoning violation,
Okay.
there's no lot line violation.
Okay. And like, what is the view like into that side part from Stratford Road? Because it's right there on the corner, which property, right? Like, if we go back to beginning here,
Keep going back. Now, right here, oh, right here.
yeah,
So there's the porch, there's the
yeah,
sidewalk, so you can kind of see, it's a pretty good size, I mean, at least 15 feet, maybe a little more. Maybe the edge of the porch and this. Now, you were wondering about this piece, this original addition,
no,
this piece?
yeah,
What was your question again?
yes.
I think she just wants to see the look at that elevation again, Jim, from the Stratford side.
This one, you want to look at the face of it?
Yeah,
That the west view?
You just have to.
because right now this is it on the bottom
Well,
right
this is-
hand.
Yes, this
Yeah.
is what it looks like now. Brick box here, brick box concealed by tree
Mhm.
Yeah.
here.
In the bottom right, Jim, right there, you can see the pretty bad
Right.
existing 50s masonry in the rear on the Stratford side.
It's pretty
Yeah, this is
bulky.
a nasty.
Yes, looks rough.
Okay.
Falling apart.
And so are you planning on like adding in some kind of trees, or are you taking away any of the foliage that's there? So all of that is gonna remain the
I
same.
want that.
You're just gonna put up that
We're,
reconstruct.
we're gonna take that brick and that wall off.
So
Yeah.
then, if I understand this correctly, Sarah, could you go to maybe slide 23? I'm wondering if that's the one that may have
The elevation
like
at
if
the
you're looking
side.
at the west view, I think slide 23 shows the projected one. I mean,
Hold on a second, before we do. That's it. Because I think it's a little,
What?
just go back to the,
How about G006?
there we go. Yeah. Okay, so this house had a porch where this is
Right,
now.
originally,
And they basically enclosed the porch.
sure,
And they built on top of the original porch foundation.
got it.
So we're gonna take that off.
Yep.
We're gonna put the porch back.
Yep.
This didn't have a porch. This whole corner was added in the 50s.
In the 50s, right?
So we're gonna trim it back.
Yeah.
We're gonna take it all down. But we'll take the part that's similar to this down and put a porch here.
Mhm.
And then, all right, then what'd you say, 23?
I was wondering if 23 is the slide you maybe, that may show like the projected from the west, could they finish it? So I'm looking, my PDF viewer may be different, so.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is very.
That's all right. Just,
That's 26, 25, 24,
Oh.
like that.
Yeah, I wonder if this is what you're looking
so
for.
that's where the one box is, and this is where the other box is.
Right, and that's just basically reconstructing the original porch, the wraparound
Right.
of porch. But in the back there's this somewhat a wall of glass there
Yes,
with the
yeah.
porch in front of it. You're just cutting that back so that it can align with the porch, the wraparound porch
Right.
that comes out from the front.
Yeah, we want the house to have its original lines, basically, so that whole face aligns across here.
Yeah,
And we want the porch to be the thing that presents, that the house presents to the street.
okay. And I imagine that in talking with landmarks that they've been pretty much okay with
Sure. So it's always a back and forth, right? And who knows what the commission's.
Yeah,
They'll
exactly.
tell us, well, would you paint every other one red and then. But in any case, we started with the idea that this porch would be continuous and it would go across this.
Mhm.
Okay? And the landmarks made a suggestion, well, Derek made a suggestion that, well, maybe if we stay with the original proportions of this and we add this piece and let this come through, that might be a little more in keeping with the original proportions of things.
Right.
And so we studied it, we thought it worked pretty well. So that's what we did.
And then basically for like the next couple of floors up, there's nothing that's really changing except for interior work.
Not much
You're gonna-
either, actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but in terms of work done to the house, I
Mhm.
mean, this is all so deteriorating. It's quite a bit of repair work.
Mhm. Okay. And then with the little garage in the back, is there any work happening to that?
Well, right now, there's a
Okay.
kind of projection that used to hold a roll-up door. So they put a kind of 1960s overhead door. So we're taking that down, and we're putting in, old school garage doors,
Mhm.
swinging garage doors.
Okay. And then you're keeping the red brick
That's the original lime mortar brick, this beautiful bricks.
motif. In the original, there was red brick down there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's the original brick.
Okay.
With those beautiful thin 8-inch joints.
Yeah.
It's pretty
And then-
cool. They look, I
And then
don't get it.
replacing the shingle siding
No,
throughout, replacing all of the windows?
no,
No, just the ones.
these windows, well, these, and these are original windows. Frames are good, and, most of us have stopped replacing windows because, first of all, that's old growth wood and it can't be replaced in our native windows. And they can be restored and be quite good in terms of infiltration and air if you weather strip them properly. So that's what we'll do. I mean, it looks, the contemporary divided light windows they don't look the same.
Mhm.
So we want to keep that sort of fabric.
Okay. And the two skylights, you're replacing the roof as well with
Oh.
a new gray roof, you said, right? And the skylights are new,
No.
the skylights are existing,
Yeah.
but you're just gonna replace them? Or are they in good condition too?
I'm not sure about this kind of, we might.
Sorry, I don't
might
want to
not know.
They're part of the
costing you
house that's
more
not
money.
leaking now. So,
That could change.
find out. Early yet.
This would have been the week to test them.
Yes, like I said, I've been.
It's true.
We already had one flood.
It's true. We had 5 feet in the basement.
No, we can talk about that. We're here.
There you go. The house came without a operating heating system, since there was, for the winter.
We keep them listen, that's for a question.
You do. You have anything? Okay, cool. So, board member minutes, sure.
Are you sure? I was gonna ask about the windows and the floors, actually. It's just given the landmark piece, I guess just for energy efficiency, all of that, if this is something you're not planning on replacing any of that, given the, I guess, using old glass?
Well, it used to be, maybe 20, 30 years ago, anytime we ran into a historic building, we got the inside insulated. But there's certain problems that come with that, including the way moisture traps through the walls of the existing building. So we don't do that. In the existing portions where we have the brick and stone walls, we are leaving it as is. Now, that does mean that it loses some heat here. So we have to supplement that with some additional heat. In these areas where we can insulate, great, we have modern heat pumps and we're fine. So it's a kind of hybrid where the historic parts are heated so that they can remain historic and the other parts are upgraded.
And I,
1909 hydronic heating system will live on.
yeah. Well, I just also wanted to ask too, this is a lot of work you're talking about. How
Yeah.
long would you actually see this lasting?
The work of
house.
the work of the house.
Both?
Oh, hope we die in that house. That's the goal.
This is supposedly the last big project.
House will go another 400 years.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That's the goal. I mean, it's built solid, that's for sure.
Well, is the work gonna take 400 years as well?
If contractors like mine, it might.
I mean, I think we envision a 12 to 18 month process.
We're likely use the contractor. We know one history.
In the historic, or you have a history with,
We have a lot of history.
and they have experience in historic districts.
They do. He's a very good contractor. Very careful.
Did your question get answered?
Okay, I see a question from a board member. Second.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, do you have any idea when the last time that roof was replaced? Or what's going on underneath the current roof?
We don't know. We do a little tear off. We'll see what we've got there.
There's at least, I think there's 2 layers of asphalt on it, so it's old. But I've crawled around the entire attic and after salvaging some groundhog oil cages. The bones of it are dry. So like all the frame, like the eaves are really deep and cool, which is part of why the shake hasn't completely fallen off, because it's original. So believe it or not, I think it's actually pretty sound up there.
Yeah, when I bought my house, which was the, whatever certificate of occupancy is, 1925, but who knows what that really meant. It was just shingles on, asphalt on top of asphalt. It was asphalt on top of asphalt. There was no plywood. There was none of that, barrier stuff that they use now. I mean, they literally ripped everything off and just chucked it and started from the rafters.
There is plywood that looks 50s-ish to me, underneath some.
Oh, so you're ahead of the game.
Installation, so like, it's not to say it doesn't need to be replaced
Yeah.
in part or all, but like,
This was a good.
I don't
house
think
when
the
it was built.
original roof material is necessarily all there still. Under the eaves it is,
Mhm.
in most cases, except where I think there was a few raccoons might have gotten in.
This was not a developer house, unlike my house. So it actually had some care and craft in it.
So a question from District Manager Campbell, then back to you, same bill, yes.
Just quickly, whether or not this is America's first planned community is apparently arguable, but I do know that because it's come before this board in terms of, when trees have been planted or pulled out, that this is one of the few historic districts that also has the plantings, the outdoor landscape architecture is also landmarked. So I'm wondering if that's been taken into account as you look to, because there was a question about if you're pulling out any foliage. Usually the city trees are only on the devil strip or the space between the sidewalk and the curb. But I just showed off my Midwestern. Yeah. But I think your landmarking extends to the plantings that are on the lot itself. So that is kind of a question about whether that's been taken into a consideration and or a heads up about your trees.
Appreciate the heads up. The current plan as a tree person is not to remove any tree unnecessarily. I would also say there's a couple of trees that have never been pruned properly. So we're getting some pruning done.
Yeah.
And like care for them properly, including one on Shepherd that had a branch that looked like it might have got ripped off at some point in the story. So like we're going to care for those trees. There is a tree of heaven in the rear corner by the original arcade that is massive. It's like, I say 45.
This doesn't extend to the rear yards, it's just the front.
Yeah. I mean, the only other, there's a dying pine tree of some sort in the front left of the house, which is cool, but it's going to be dangerous at some point.
Well, you remember there's that big bit of foliage in front of us. That's a great thing, because this is a west elevation. When that sun comes down, that's gonna do a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Keeping it cool.
All right, thank you.
Also, our kids want the foliage, like they're excited about the trees. I'm from West Virginia originally, he's from Virginia. That's one
Trees
of
to
the
climb.
reasons why we moved to that area, is because of the trees and foliage. We love it. They love climbing the trees. I smell that.
Awesome. And you had a question too, right?
Oh, yeah, Just to piggyback off of what Nina was talking about, your plan, you said, was to replace at least the shingles on the roof, right?
Right.
That is the plan.
Yeah.
And then when you get in there, I'm sure that you'll, if
Well,
there's anything else to sort of
yeah.
replace, then you'll cross that bridge when you get there.
Yeah. There's a lot of work in those eaves, in those shingles. We're gonna leave it as a ventilated attic. So it can do its job the way it was designed. There, the gutters, the downspouts, the whole internal plumbing system that takes the rainwater out, it all needs to be either replaced or opened up. But there's a lot of miscellaneous work to be done.
There's no working roof drains right now. So the place has like 47 water features. It's exciting, you know, live there. So we're working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so are there any additional questions from board members? Okay, so hearing none, do we have consensus to make a recommendation to the full board to, you know, support this application to the Landmarks Preservation Commission for the restoration and renovation proposal at 1100 Albemarle Road, block 5115, lot 1.
So moved.
Excellent.
So this goes before our full board at the meeting on Monday, which is held in person at East Midwood Jewish Center. You are always welcome, but there's no obligation to be there. And then the full board just votes on this recommendation. And then we would write a letter accordingly to LPC pretty much the following day, you know, within days.
So there's no like open Q&A that we would miss if we weren't there or anything like that?
No, because you'll see on some of our meeting notices, there's no there's no discussion on matters that have already been heard at a public hearing or committee meeting.
Oh,
Okay.
right, okay.
Well, there'll be a discussion amongst board members, but not members of the public that wanted
Yeah.
to.
Thanks for clarifying. that.
Welcome to the neighborhood, guys.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to be here.
Excellent. So that concludes our public hearing at 7:29 PM, folks. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you hear back from DPP about